Hi, thanks for joining me today. I'm Amanda of Inspiring Inkin. Welcome to my craft room. In today's video we're going to be making this card and actually a box that is going to go with the card for a small gift. We're going to be using lots of products from the Spring Summer Stampin' Up catalogue. There are always links to all of the products that I've used at the bottom of the description in YouTube, or if you're on my blog then just scroll down and it will be down there. So I'm just going to show you some of the products that we're going to be using. The main focus is this stamp set, which is called A Good Day, and you'll find that here on page 14. And there are two matching punches, scallop punches. One is a 1 1/8 and one is 1 3/8. And then these mini embroidery hoops as well, which are really cool. What else am I going to be using? I've got some baker's twine, some crumb cake ribbon, some markers, silver foil cards, some embossing folders, and a few other bits and pieces. But you're here to see me crafting, so let's get on with the project, shall we? I'm going to turn the camera around so that you can focus on my hands and what I'm doing. So this is the card that we're going to be making today. There is a second project, which is a box, which I will show you when we get to that in a few minutes. The card is using this fabulous stamp set called A Good Day, and we're using these mini embroidery hoops. They come like this, they're really well packaged, and there are 8 in a set, so you get 4 of the small ones and 4 of the large ones. Now they do have a screw bit which actually opens and closes. They're made of MDF, so they're quite strong but they're light, so don't worry about putting them through the post. What I suggest you do though is, if you are going to put them through the post, what you do is you put a piece of bubble wrap over the top of the envelope, the card, just to protect it. So let's get started with the stamping first. So I need the tree stamp, the words and the bird. So I'm using chocolate chip to do the stamping, and then I've got some markers. So I've got soft suede, old olive, crushed curry and tangerine tango. So I'm going to stamp the tree image. I am going to stamp the little bird on the envelope. No naked envelopes in my world. I always stamp on the envelope just to give a little bit of interest. When this pops through somebody's door, they are going to know that it's something special just for them. And I'm going to put a little bird on the inside layer of the card as well. And what else do I need? I need the words. Okay. So I'm just going to do a little bit of colouring in. Now, if you haven't come across the Stampin' Right markers before, these are water-based ink. It's exactly the same ink as you will find in our ink pads. You can refill them. I have a video on how to refill them. I'll put a link in the description below so that you can actually see that. But the markers themselves need to be stored horizontally like this, because they have a central reservoir of ink and they have 2 ends. So there is a little a thin white line for the thin end, and then a fat white line for the brush tip. So I'm going to be using the fine end, because these images are actually really quite tiny. And it's just going to take a few seconds just to do some colouring in. I'm just going to run a little bit of green there. And obviously the brilliant thing about this is, although I'm colouring everything in green today, you could make this an autumn tree. You could actually pretend this is leaves and blossom. So put little bits of pink on there as well. That would look really nice. But I'm just colouring all the leaves in with old olive. so. And then soft suede for the branches and the trunk. And I like how the chocolate chip there just gives a bit of definition, even though I'm colouring in with soft suede. Oh, and a little bit on the swing seat there. And then the crushed curry for the centre of the flower. And then these tiny petals are going to be tangerine tango. Okay, so there you go. It didn't take very long at all. Obviously you can take as much time as you want to with your colouring in. And then I'm using one of the matching punches, which is the 1 1/8, and it's a scallop punch, and it just fits perfectly. And then I'm going to use the classic label punch and punch the greeting out as well. Okay, so believe it or not, we're actually almost at assembly point. So that's the other one. So let me get the card blank. I have already punched out some silver foil classic label punches, and what I've also done is I have already embossed an old olive layer. Now this embossing folder is called Layered Leaves. It's a really thick, I hope the camera will be able to pick this up, a really thick embossing folder. And it's called a dynamic embossing folder, and it gives you such a deep impression. It's really beautiful. The thing to know with this is when you're putting it through your big shot, you only put one clear plate on the top, so otherwise it won't run through the big shot. So let me get some glue and start putting this together. Of course, it might help if I had a Tombow that wasn't nearly empty. So I've got 6 Tombows on my desk, and they're probably all nearly empty because I use this all the time. There we go. You would think I would have learnt by now to always put a new Tombow on my desk when I'm filming a video, but this is real life and real crafting, so my Tombow runs out the same as everybody else's. The bonus is I have lots in my cupboard. Couldn't imagine a life without Tombow glue, I can tell you. So there we go. So that's those 2 pieces. Now what I need to do is to snip a little bit of this baker's twine off. Now this is silver and white baker's twine, and I'm going to wrap it round 2 or 3 times, and then tie a bow. Oh, there we go. Now I'm going to tie the bow upside down, because then the tails will go in the right direction. It's a little trick that I've learnt over the years, and it just means then I can pull the bow that way, and then these tails will come down. She says, whenever you're on camera, it decides it's not going to do what it normally does. It's twisting a little bit, but that's fine. Right. I'm going to pop that, snip that off there. And there. Okay. Let's see if that will untwist. It's not going to do it, is it, today? Right. Ah, there we go. Okay. So a little quick hint and tip with your classic label punch. I love this punch. It's a really cute punch just in this shape. But what I'm going to do is make flag ends and put it flat as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is just trim off that piece, so that's flat, and then I'm going to feed this back in to the punch and punch it, and there it gives me a little flag end, and I'm going to do exactly the same with the silver foil. And then what I shall do is stick the white one on top of the silver one like so, and then that will give me that lovely greeting with a silver foil border. So there we go. I'll just hold that down just for a second. Now Tombow is brilliant glue, and it will stick these wooden embellishments down. So I'm just going to run that round just a little bit. Pop that there on the front. A little bit of extra glue there. Let's just tidy that up. Move that one out of the way. Now this one is actually going to go in the centre. Now, each time I've done this, I've done it a different way. So I'm going to show you how I found it worked better this last time. And this bow is definitely misbehaving today. There. Stay. So I'm going to put my dimensional down and then move the naughty bow out of the way and put this down, and what I do is I centre it first and then press it down. Right, there we go. And then I'm just going to put this greeting on a little bit further down, and there we go. So there is your finished card with your bow that is absolutely not doing what it's supposed to do today, but it looks cute anyway. So there we go. So there is your first project. Now I always like to have things that match and coordinate, which is why I love Stampin' Up so much, because everything coordinates. But I wanted a little box to go with this. So what I have got, I'm just going to get my catalogue back out to show you. It's something in the catalogue that I think people miss. It's here. So it's called the Sure Do Love You stamp set. So that's this stamp set. And there's the Lots to Love box framelets. And certainly it's easy to miss in the catalogue. So I thought I would show it to you today. So let me get the dies first. So this is the dies, and this is actually the box, and you're going to die cut 2 of these. And then these are the other dies. So you've got 2 leaves, you've got 3 small hearts, a bigger heart, a fabulous banner, and then these little cutaway pieces. And as I said, it's actually designed for this stamp set. But all of these images, the leaves and the hearts and even the banner, you don't necessarily need this stamp set. You could use lots of different things with those, and they also just make really nice little die cuts on their own. But what I did was I just used the box and I cut out 2 pieces, and this is what it looks like. So it cuts and scores. So you've got 2 flaps, 2 long side flaps and 2 little tabs. And then this piece folds in and folds again. And like I said, you're going to cut 2 of them. Now I've got these little pieces here, and what you can do with these are like finger grip holes. So you can run that through the Big Shot and then cut out a little hole then to get your finger inside. But because I didn't do that, because what I wanted to do is I wanted it to match, coordinate with this card. So what I did was I got 2 of them and I ran them through the Big Shot using the layered leaves embossing folder. and it's a tiny bit too short. So when I put it through the big shot, like that, can you see this little tiny bit here just pokes out of the end? But actually it doesn't matter, it just looks like it's part of the design. So I was really pleased with that. Let me move those out of the way. And have I got a bone folder here? Yes, I have. Okay. So what I'm going to do is just go over the score lines and make sure that you die cut the box first and then emboss it. Because if you try and do it the other way, what will happen is the embossing will get flattened out and that won't be very good. So that goes there. That goes there. And then the same with this one. So just take a second just to make sure that the score lines are where they need to be. Okay, so now how you put it together is you have a flap at one end and a flap at the other. Obviously now I've embossed it, it's really easy to work out which is the inside and which is the outside. And you're going to stick these two pieces together. So no glue on the little tabs, but a little bit of glue here, like so. And just make sure that you're lining up the edge of the box on the score line. And I just sort of fold it over the top and just give it a good press down, make sure it's all good. And then this second piece is exactly the same. So you're going to put glue on here and fold that over. And can you see how I've got the box all flat? That's really important because it means then all of your angles are all lined up properly. So another little press. Make sure those bits are pressed down as well. It's just taking a second. Obviously the bumps where it's embossed, it's a bit of texture, so it just takes a few more seconds to glue. Okay, so now all you do is you just fold the tabs in and fold that in. Oh, this is so cute, such a cute box. Okay, so let me tell you how big the box is. It is 5 inches by 3 and a little bit over ½ an inch deep. Now this is a fabulous size of box for things like jewellery, chocolates, any kind of box. Size of box is fabulous for chocolate, of course. But there's all sorts of things that you can do with this size of box. It's a really nice size. So it's looking a bit plain. So what I need to do is get my ribbon. I'm going to get a long piece of ribbon. I'm going to tie it up like a parcel. I'm going to find the middle of the ribbon, run it across there, round the back. Obviously, if you're putting something in your box, you need to have put it in before you start fastening it up like this. Twist it, come on, twist it round. And then tie a bow. Now, this ribbon is much better behaved than the baker's twine. I can tell you that now. It's really nice to tie. It's going to misbehave now, you watch. Let me just pull that round, there we go. So, pull that down a little bit. And that one. Fab. So just cut your tails off at a jaunty angle. Now obviously it would look lovely just like this, but I'm not going to stop there. I'm going to use this larger embroidery hoop to make a little tag. So I've got a little bit of baker's twine that I had from earlier, and I'm just going to thread this through. Now this is actually really important to do this before you start doing all the sticking. I didn't do it on some of my first prototypes, and it was really hard to get it fastened. So let me just pull this apart. So basically what I'm doing is I'm getting the baker's twine in that centerpiece there, so I can actually tie it onto here when I'm finished. Now I want some crumb cake cardstock. I've got a 1 3/4 inch punch. Now this punch is slightly bigger. If I line that up right on the edge, it's slightly bigger than this circle, but the next size down is slightly too small. So this works best. And what we're going to do is, just like I did on the card, run some glue around this edge and line up the circle as far round as you can. Hold it down, and then with your scissors, just trim. And I love the fact that this colour is almost a match to the embroidery hoop. There we go. So you can see it's only a tiny sliver that you're taking off. So we've got that piece. Then I'm going to use some silver foil, and this is a 1 3/8. So that's the next scallop circle up. And we're going to pop that inside here, like so. I already have punched and embossed the smaller size, so the 1 1/8 in Old Olive. So that's going to go here. And then I am going to get one of these. So these are the Petal Passion metal embellishments. I'm going to use a little flower. You need glue dots really to stick these down. It doesn't want to stick onto the metal embellishment today. And then that, let me just move it so it's a bit more central. And then that is just going to go on there like that to make a little tag. And obviously you can write on the back of this. And then what I'm going to do is just take those 2 little strands of baker's twine there and just tie a little overhand knot. That's just going to feed that through. Honestly, this baker's twine is being so badly behaved today. Right, there we go. I'll tie a different kind of a knot and make it stay. Right, so let me just trim that off. And then clear the decks a little bit. And so the bow can sit like so. And you've got a beautiful gift with a little tag and a card to coordinate as well. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed today's projects. If you'd like some more creative inspiration, please make sure that you subscribe to this YouTube channel so you'll always be notified when I upload a new video, and pop over to my blog www.inspiringinkin.com. There you'll find all of the details of the projects that I've made today, along with some links to my online store. Thank you for joining me. I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.